Over the last 5 years, I've helped my clients and small business owners across the internet figure out a batching process that works best for them when it comes to their content creation. And in 2023, I have spent so much time and energy really refining my own batching process to eventually report it back to you guys. I've tested out so many new processes and softwares and routines and tried a ton of different things, quite literally, so I can report back to you guys in 2024 and then teach it to you in my course, The Content System. But today, I want to give you a brief look at what this process has been like and what batching has become for my business. And this is a process that I've refined to almost perfection. So, first, let's talk about why I actually wanted to create such a rigorous batching process and routine. I used to own and run a social media agency called A Creative Co. And I used to work with clients, and my team and we would work with them on a month to month basis where we were creating an entire month of content at a time. And they always knew that their content was done a full month in advance for the following month. It was something I became known for and really specialized in with my clients so that they knew that they were always going to show up on social media consistently and they can play with the fun day in and day out stuff like Instagram stories, or some of them even tried TikTok. Yet during that time, content creation and batching felt so sporadic for my business, and I thought that this process would never work for me because I worked in the social media industry and everything changes what seems like overnight all the time. So I'd routinely tell myself, batching's not going to work. That content that you created a month ago isn't going to be relevant today. And at the time, I would try and batch create just a week in advance in between creating client content, only to feel really uninspired the following week. So after leaving that world of social media management and leaving my agency behind, I did have a bit more free time to invest into my own content creation and batching process. And while I know my process might be rigorous and it might be a little intense for most small business owners, especially if you're doing this on your own, you can take bits and pieces of my batching system and really use it for your own. And believe me, I tried anything and everything. I tried batching a month of Instagram content, then I tried batching a week of TikTok content, and I eventually found my sweet spot and fell in love with YouTube content creation. It's something I've been doing for the last 2 years, but I would do it on a weekly basis and sometimes take a break and then take a break here and then take another break here. But I fell in love with the process of batching my YouTube videos once a month so that each week I could then repurpose that video, and that became my batching process. I really fell in love with this type of content strategy and have really developed it into being something super powerful. So let's dive into my actual batching process. Remember, over the last 2 years, I used to create YouTube videos each and every week, and it would be a thing. I'd have to do my hair and makeup every week, and then I'd have to sit down and record a video. And then I would take what seemed hours editing it and making it perfect and all these things. And I knew there just had to be a better way. So now what my process looks like is, again, I'm doing my hair and makeup right now. This is just once a month. And then after I'm done recording these videos, I might record some other supplemental content, take pictures for Instagram if I need to, take pictures for my thumbnails, and like so many other little tasks. Essentially, though, what happens is YouTube videos are the foundation of the rest of my content strategy, and everything else stems from it. So I approach batching a little bit differently. I have a batching session once a month, and then I have other batching tasks that I do each and every week. So when I sit down to create these YouTube videos, I'm creating 4 to 5 at a time, and these are topics that I know will work in more of an evergreen fashion. Meaning, if somebody sees this 6 months down the line, it's for the most part relevant. Maybe the examples won't always be relevant, but at least the core things that I'm teaching and giving you value on, they will be relevant 6 months to a year down the line. And these are all topics that I also don't mind talking about on my other social media platforms. These things are going to be relevant pretty much everywhere. So that's my monthly process. Now, trying to take all 4 of these videos in just like one session and trying to create a whole month of content off of these 4 videos is just insane. It's impossible. There's a lot of work to be done here. So instead, what we do is we take one of those videos every single week and have another batching process. So on Monday mornings, I take a look at the YouTube video that was posted at 9 a.m. and I figure out what supplemental content I need throughout that week to stay relevant. And what this looks like is I'm recording trending audios and sounds for like TikToks and Reels so that it can stay relevant and in the moment, but it is all based off the topic of that YouTube video. Because not only do I want to stay relevant with the trends, but I really want to drive home the message of that YouTube video for my audience for that entire week. Behind the scenes, my content manager is actually actively editing the YouTube video for the following week, or sometimes 2 weeks. So on Wednesday, I sit down to review a YouTube video that will be published in a week or two, and I review all the edits she did. She also pulls out short form video clips that I also review. And again, keep in mind, these are all videos and pieces of content that are going to get published either the following week or 2 or 3 weeks down the line. We always work a minimum of 1 week ahead. Basically, I sit down and review all that content that she's pulled for me, and I make any small adjustments and give it back to her. She will then export all of that content and make sure it's inside of Airtable for me, and she kind of helps me get the foundations of the content rolling so that on Thursday, I can sit down and I can write all the captions, review any descriptions, repurpose any other additional content that I might need for Instagram, create any graphics and things like that. So that's what my weekly batching process looks like. So you can see how these two things go hand in hand. It may be complex, it may be rigorous, but it is something that I have streamlined that works so well for me so that I can get the bulk of the content creation done once a month. And then on a weekly basis, I would say only spend a couple of hours on actual content creation. And between me and my content manager, we're producing well over 20 to 30 pieces of content across platforms each and every single week. So what's my verdict on batching? Again, I'm going to go against the grain here and say that batching is for every single small business owner. And now I know there are people out there that say you're allowed to create intuitively, you're allowed to create in the moment. And yes, I think those things are good. But at some form, at some level, batching is going to help you create a better habit with content creation, create a better routine, and just ultimately be able to show up more consistently. And I promise that batching will work for you in some capacity. My batching system is absolutely crazy. Like, I totally get that. I don't want you to go out and go from no batching to using my system. That's going to lead you to burnout, and it's going to be really difficult. And it might feel difficult at first. And while you don't have to be as strict as I am with this, you do have to start to look at places where you can start to batch create your content. And just remember, the end goal here is to create a better and healthier relationship with content creation and social media. So you can start small. What I recommend for people just starting their batching journey, or if you've struggled with batching, why don't you lean into something like taking Monday mornings and writing down just your ideas. Just the ideas that you want to execute for the week. You don't have to execute them, just write the ideas down. Give yourself 20 minutes. Or if you like to create content more intuitively or more in the moment, now you can at least have a foundation. You have ideas for the week, and each morning you can show up and create that piece of content. That is still a small form of batching that can, again, just help you maintain consistency and build a better relationship and process. Then if you've started to love that and you want to dive deeper into batching, maybe you lean into something like taking an hour or two on Monday mornings and creating all of your Instagram posts. And over time, you're going to add more tasks into your batching process. You're going to get quicker and more efficient at it. And maybe what this eventually looks like is you're taking those Friday afternoons to have fun with your newsletter and batch create your Instagram and TikTok videos for the next week, so that you can show up in stories every single day. Again, take it slow and just try and find those little pieces where you can start to batch create, because I do believe it is for everybody. So now that we've walked through how content batching has evolved for me and my exact process, I want to help you kind of make batching a bit easier. At the link below, you guys are going to see my free Airtable content planner template. Going to help you get your workflow organized, house all of your content, and just make it so much easier to batch create content for your small business. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.